some kind of interaction to the students. I just want to ask you, when you think of the word critical thinking, what comes to your mind? The word critical particularly, what comes to your mind? Just one word or something, other one, what do you think? Yeah?
Analyzing, sir.
Analyzing, okay. Any one word, if you can add one word. Deep, okay. Critical thinking, anyone here? Okay.
Rational.
Rational, okay, right. Just throw some words.
Observing, sir. Observing.
Observing, okay, right. Any other?
Processing, serious.
Serious, okay, serious.
Processing, sir.
Processing, okay, right. Any moving? Can you? Understanding, okay, right. There are two words in this term, critical and thinking, okay, right? All of us think, okay, to be very precise, human beings are thinking creatures, okay, right? Probably the most distinguishing mark of a human being is the ability to think, okay? There's a very famous Cartesian cogito, I think therefore I am, okay? I think therefore I exist. Okay. It's a very, very famous statement which distinguishes human beings from other creatures, okay, other animals and other creatures. According to this, Darwinian theory also, I think human beings are distinguished by the ability to differentiate, ability to reason, ability to think. Okay. So all of us are thinking creatures. Therefore, the word thinking is quite easy. The word critical is problematic. Normally when we use the word critical, what comes to our mind is fault finding. Okay, main meaning that the moment you say critical, he was very critical about my presentation. Okay, right? That means he found fault with. That's a normal meaning that. Critical also is, in that sense, it is not a positive term. People normally consider, if somebody is using the word critical to you, it means something negative. Okay? So that's the sense in which we normally take. We consider everything critical as negative. Okay? But in critical thinking, it is not used as a negative term. Okay? It is used as a kind of, shall we say, neutral term. Okay? Neutral term. Okay? I think to begin with, I'll show you 3 or 4 quotations, and you just try to understand these quotations. From that, we will slowly take some discussion. I will not be taking you to any complicated part of critical thinking, because critical thinking as a pure subject taught in philosophy department is very complex. I am not taking you to that. I am very touching upon only the very rudimentary things. Zahir, can you pass the slide? Yes. I have a few quotations for you. You just read this and tell me what you understand from this. My father used to say, don't raise your voice, improve your argument. Okay. It's a very, very common situation in all of us. Many occasions, we raise our voice and, we try to shout, okay, right? Because we are very frustrated to know that others are not accepting our views, okay? Others are not ready to take our views. Others are not subscribing to our views. Therefore, but there is no point in shouting, okay, right? The problem is that others are not ready to accept you because your logic is not correct. What you are trying to convey is not convincing enough for the others to believe. Okay? What do you think of this? Anything else? Can anybody add a few things? We'll make it interactive because otherwise it'll be too monotonous, for me talking for hours together. Can anybody add a few things to this, what I said? Yes.
Sir, raising voice with facts, information.
No, raising voice, don't worry about all that, okay, right? Imagine you try to convince something, somebody something, okay, right? They are not ready to accept you, okay? They are not ready to, fall in line, okay? All of us, when we, for example, in your own discussions, in your classrooms, in your casual talks, all of us will be putting forward our views, knowingly or unknowingly. Yes?
Indirectly saying, like when you get angry, you shout a lot. So
Okay.
don't shout a lot.
Okay.
Say calmly, improve your argument,
Okay.
give the details, give the facts, don't just blabber anything.
Okay.
So this is
Okay.
what it means.
That's interesting. Any? Yeah.
Reverse the sentence also.
Okay.
Don't raise your voice, improve your argument, my father said.
Okay. Don't raise your voice, improve your argument. That is what Desmond Tutu is saying that his father told him. Okay, this is advice that his father gave to this very famous, shall we say, activist from South Africa. Okay, this is what his father told him. Don't raise your voice, improve your argument. What does it actually convey? Anything else? Can anybody contribute anything?
Rhetorical aspects.
Rhetorical aspects. Okay. No. Here the problem is, I think if your argument is really solid, there is no point in raising your. There's no need of raising your voice.
But you tend to get heated up, right?
Yeah, heated up. Heated up comes when do we get heated up? Okay. The occasion is normally when others are not ready to do what you want them to do, or they are not ready to fall in line or ready to accept your views. That is when we get agitated. So this agitation will not be required if you are able to properly convince people. Okay. So the point here is that only a critical thinker will be able to come out with an improved argument. Okay, that's the point. So 2, 3 quotations are there. Okay, let's come to the next one. Okay, right. Next one. Okay, okay, sorry. Think for yourself and let others enjoy the privilege to do so too. Okay. Think for yourself and let others enjoy the privilege to. Voltaire, famous French philosopher. What do you understand from this statement?
Sir,
Yeah.
don't enforce your ideas on others.
Okay. No. Think for yourself. Okay. No, there's no mention of enforcing your ideas on others. Okay.
Sir, it's showing
Yeah.
for yourself.
Yeah. Let others enjoy the privilege to do so. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let others also think about it.
Okay.
Just stating that let everybody think.
Let everybody think. That's okay. Any other conclusions can you draw from this?
It's a democratic ideas.
Democratic. Okay. Be democratic. That is, when you insist on thinking for yourself, okay, you have to also believe that every individual is thinking on their own. Okay. What does that mean? You have to accept the views of others. Okay. When you are giving the privilege of thinking, okay, on your own, okay, you say that I'm a self-made man, okay, right? I do what I consider right. Okay. This kind of statements people normally make, okay, right? But when you think of this, you have to also think that the other people also should be having the same kind of privilege. As you said, there is no enforcing of your thinking on others. That's one thing. Okay, there is no. That is, don't think that your view, your way of looking at the world will be replicated in others. Okay. They will not have the same. They will think on their own too. Okay. Here, since all of us are students of humanities, one very unique quality of humanities as a subject is that no two individuals think alike is one of the watchwords in humanities. Okay. No two individuals think alike. All of us are different individuals. All of us have different faculties of thinking. But there may be certain point at which your thinking may be interesting to another person. Okay. That point is when your thinking is supported by proper, shall we say, evidence, or proper, shall we say, logic. Okay, this is a very simple quote. Let us move to the next quote. Okay, right? 3 or 4 things are there. Okay. Yes, this is a very famous statement from Bacon from Off Studies. Read not to contradict and confute, not to believe and take for granted, not to find talk and discourse, but to weigh and consider. This is about reading. Okay. This is a kind of piece of advice, all full of this essay is full of aphoristic statements like this. Okay. So the entire essay is full of these kind of statements. Okay, all very, shall we say,
So it is
Bacon, Francis Bacon. I'll read it out for you. Read not to contradict and confute, nor to believe and take for granted, not to find talk and discourse, but to weigh and consider. What do you understand from this?
So was this quote like opposed by many people in general?
What is that?
Was this quote opposed by many people?
No. It's actually in Bacon's essay of studies. Okay, of studies. He's generally talking about the benefits of studies, and he's also talking about the benefits of reading, writing, and all that. Okay, what are the kind of books that you can read and all that. So when he's thinking about reading, okay, he's saying that he's telling us, Bacon is actually a towering figure in the shall we say Enlightenment period. Okay? He's probably one of the most celebrated philosophers of the Enlightenment. We know Bacon only as an essay writer, but he was a philosopher. He was the main, shall we say, intellectual contributor behind Enlightenment or Renaissance in the Middle Ages in Europe. It was this philosophical